Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Duke CT, back with you once again. Hopefully, with a bit stable internet connection. Hopefully, everyone is feeling good. Hopefully, y'all are feeling good on this Tuesday evening. And man, oh man, it has been a really interesting time for the NWA. And honestly, we got some stuff to talk about. And boy, oh boy, yeah. And Nick Aldis. Well, to start out with Nick Aldis, he has been he's been the when he's asked about the NWA release and looking at how, his the issues with him and all these other all this other stuff with with Billy Corgan, who is the promoter and all this type of stuff here. Saying that, yeah, I mean, if you do remember, the first big moment of the Corgan era was in 2018. That's like he had talked about the NWA champion Nick Aldis took on Cody Rhodes at All In. Cody Rhodes won, and I just like the fact that he's like, man, Cody Rhodes never really won the world title. I'm like, wait, what? He won the ROH championship, and then he won the NWA world title. I'm like, yeah. But anyway, um, it was the start, and it really did start the process of AEW. And then after that, the launch of NWA Power, and it was actually really good. You had all these, like I said, Eddie Kingston, Ricky Starks, Aldis, all these things, really good stuff. A lot of people were, these things, the NWA. I remember watching the NWA, and just having just this really good connection with it. The NWA Power in 2019 really was good. I watched it more often than not. That and WW Dark, and they're just back and forth. I was like really having fun with it, and it just fell apart. And then the pandemic hit, and it just never really got there, And they talked about this is the interview by him, like about like this. Just saw this on MSN to talk about this. He wants to talk about the NWA. Nick Aldis leaving. Says they currently suspended by the NWA, and your contract with them comes up the end of the year. If I done my research correctly, you're unable to negotiate or make a move until January. When can we expect to see what's next for you? Nick says, I have no intention of doing anything other than seeing out my contract. Like I said in the interview with Sam Roberts, the way that was laid out, it was a minimum of 1 year, but after that 1 year term, it would continue on a month-to-month basis, so I had to give 60 days notice. Right. He's like right here. So I basically did it at the earliest possible time. Was my decision to, well, let's talk about why I decided to make it public. Because I knew that on the surface, a lot of people would say, well, why did he make it public? What's the point in that if he wasn't trying to cause drama and trouble? Well, it was two reasons. One was so that he said Nick Aldis, like, well, he could be able to have open discussions with anybody else. And two, honestly, it was getting in front of what I knew what was coming at the pay-per-view. Yeah, that stuff was going to happen. Oh, and yeah, we'll get to that later. You put this on an Instagram post over the weekend. It got a lot of pictures. Nick, you said, I hope now you see why it's important to let me know that I've given my notice to the NWA before this pay-per-view. Hard times where, let me see, stop sharing this. Let me just bring up what happened here. Let me just bring up what happened here, and right here, this. Let me just see if I can put it up here. Share the stuff here, right here, and there you go. Let me just get this, and there it is. Tyrus won the NWA World Championship, fighting against Matt Cardona, who looks like he's going to be WWE bound. and Trevor Murdoch. And it is, yeah. I just like this. Like, he fits the vibe of the classic studio wrestling. No, Tyrus is like, I mean, no. I honestly think the reason why, Billy did this is so he can have like Tyrus come on Gutfield with the NWA championship. Like, we're having cross promotions. Isn't that fun with people who barely watch, don't even know what the NWA is on, by the way. Don't even know what that is. I don't even know. Hmm. It's, yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird thing, but yet Tyrus winning. But yet, we'll get back to the interview. Let me just share this tab here. It's right here. So, thanks, exactly. It's like this. A couple things want to break down there. Yeah, exactly. He says right here, talk, turn big opportunities to take the lead on. That has become the most toxic brand in pro wrestling. This is what a former champion, a former face of the company, who pretty much they believe that Nick Aldis is pretty much is the face of the company. For the most part. And he said the most toxic brand of pro wrestling. Wow. And he is saying this is what it is. And he says, why? The fan sentiment. It's like the disregard for the fans. I'm not trying to get into political stuff. That's not interesting to me. Politics in this country is very, very split, very divided, and I'm a centrist. So, AKA, I don't want to say anything that pisses anybody off. But, you're going to get pissed off anyway. But that's a nice political answer. Let's see if everything else seems to be looking good. Okay, are we looking good? And let me just stop sharing the screen here just to make sure, everything's looking good. But yeah, that was a nice non-political answer. Nice non-political answer, my dude. Smart, very smart, and he knows what to do. He knows what to say and knows what to do at the right situation. You understand what I'm saying? That's the smartest thing to do. Just, give a non-answer. Exactly. He said brands should be best to be apolitical. And that's not really me the matter. It's more about the audience have been telling them for one thing for a long time, and Billy specifically has been disregarding them and doing the complete opposite, almost out of spite. I like to think I'm in touch with the NWA honest as anybody, and really more so than anybody. And the amount of communication I have with the fans has just been pleading with me, please talk to him. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? What happened to the show? Why is he doing this? And a lot of it is like, there is people like that. Here it is. At some point, it feels like he's deliberately going. That's what his response is. Nick Aldis is saying that he's going against the fans what they asked for. Being the spite person. And hey, it can work. Being spiteful works. Hell, Vince McMahon basically ran his entire company majority on spite. You know, everyone has this big old spite. You know what I mean? It is, you know, you know, this spite. All this spite, by the way. It's just all nothing but spite. But you can't really do um you can't really run a company that way for the most part. You have to be, have what you can't go all the way negative all the time, and especially the NWA. WE can do that for long periods of time because they were the only game in town. NWA, you don't have the clout of WWE, much less the lack of competition. You lost your women's champion Thunder Rosa to AEW. Yeah, that's a BS. Yeah, that's a good way to keep your talent happy and such. You know that sort of thing. Mm. And and you have Tony Khan paying the majority of your talent for for your NWA Empower stuff, which that's a whole other issue, by the way. But yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, it's just one. He feels like he's deliberately going, you know, just against the fans at this point. It's just like around to the honest since I've been here, though, to go above and beyond over deliver. That to me was the basis of success at the beginning. Was unpromoting, was under promising and over delivering. We couldn't compete in terms of resources or in terms of star power, in the terms of production value. We had to compete in this being in a show that really connected with the audience. And then it just feels there's like this little move away from that periodic spike. Yeah, yeah. And it's like here saying, so I'm interested with the creative process like in the NWA, Nick. How does it work there? Is it all just Billy handing out a script? It seems like it was different when Dave Lagana was around. Obviously, he got involved with the Me Too movement, and then the process kind of shift. I don't know if that represents you when I say something like that. Absolutely, it's one person now. It's one guy, and it's my way or the highway. So he chose the highway. He bounced, and you know what? That's the smart thing to do. Uh, he's talking to AEW. Um, yeah, he's talking about AEW. He's talking about this stuff here. He wanted to talk to Tony and Bill. I mean, yeah, and exactly. And he talks about how AEW existence, everything else. It looks like they were doing some really good things. AEW. It talks about this. It talks about guys fitting well. I'm just old school throwback guy, therefore I hate everything modern. And you look at the body of work, but that stuff is guys who can keep opposite me. Whereas Marty Scurll, who's total different size and shape style. Cody Rhodes, yes, there were comparisons, but it's total different approach and style. Tim Storm, totally different. Trevor Murdoch, totally different. Ricky Starks, totally great. So there's different things, different ideas and such. He does have unfinished business between Cody Rhodes, so he is in WWE. So this is looking the interview and such, and AAA, all this stuff. But yeah, going back to the the NWA, here it is. We get down here, this one here. One of them exactly. Yeah, here it is. One of the things that people talked about was the situation down with Roy Mickey James. A lot of people were upset about Billy's comments about women's wrestling, and you, of course, alluded those playing a part in your leaving. But what about you and Mickey? Do you have any interest working your wife on screen? It seems that you're going to have a chance to do something a little bit different, find a different presentation, maybe a little bit. I don't know. Do you have any interest working with Mickey on screen? Since we talked about it, yeah, we did the big next tab with Matt and Chelsea with Impact, and that was fun. And I was always open to it once I established it to a point where I felt like I was my own person. We've been in the industry a long time. It's safe to say she didn't start dating me because of size in the industry. I was really low on the totem pole in TNA, and I was getting my opportunities and doing all right, and I was getting this push. I was working there. Then talks about the stuff here. We still want exact times TNA would bring it up. We still wanted to do something one time. I think Bruce I mentioned at one point, but I don't remember that. But was certainly brought up more than once. And I had to self exactly and stuff. I like I do it now. That's what I'm known as. So yeah, he had to go his own way, empowering women. And then here it is. But it doesn't seem high on maybe doing all women's pay per view, but obviously Mickey was the brains behind it last time. Are you and Mickey interested in possibly running some kind of all women's line or events in general? I don't know where his head's at as a promoter. We're definitely exploring potential opportunities and promoting, producing capacity. Yes, look, let me be clear. We're not starting on promotion, but yeah, this ties into the AEW thing a bit. I really enjoy being in the process with the NWA. I really enjoy working in business development. I spent a lot of time unpaid going after sponsors or going after agreements with different venues like casinos and things of that nature and exploring different broadcast opportunities. And I enjoy really getting into all that. And over my years, particularly in Europe and the UK, I had a good spot on a TV show where I was basically a kid. So I've been involved in that world, World some saying a long time as well. And I've made a lot of contacts there. I always made a point to my TNA career to take business cards and make contacts with people. I worked very closely with Jeff Jarrett doing Global Force and things like that, so I've always been interested and active in those kind of roles, which was one of the reasons why I dug in with Billy in the NWA because I wanted to grow and develop this brand to something that could be a valuable asset and a valuable property. I think that I wanted to make it known that my decision to move on is not because I'm assuming that I'll get some gigs somewhere. Whatever happens with that happens. I don't have anything lined up. I want to be a free agent in the aspect, but also I want to be able to explore other ventures. There's a lot goes into it. And it's not just because I want to go to this company or that, opportunities and such. He was rental, but it's like he's ready to move on. So yeah, they talked about other mission. He's talking about legacy stuff there. Yeah, that stuff here. So they're talking about the women stuff, and yeah, it's this is a very interesting article about this about the NW release and everything else. But then we get to Billy Corgan, and yeah, here it is, his response, and this was yesterday. Billy Corgan on Hard Time Stream Main Event. If you don't want to see stuff like that, then don't watch the NWA, which is not going to be a problem for me because I haven't watched that company in a long while. Oh, I love the double folder here. It says, believes the MW should be presented in a certain way. If you don't like it, you will watch someone else. And he was a recent guest on the stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw discussing a variety of subjects. When he asked about his ready events for the coming next 5 to 10 years, Corgan points to people like like the Funkasaurus as the future of the company. So first off, it is very hard for a general wrestling community to understand is to me, the NWA is a mainstream product, Billy Corgan said, with a straight face and not basically wasted or whatever. He said this completely sober, hopefully. The NWA is a mainstream product. Right there. I'm not misquoting him. You see it right there. He said this. I want to bring back a traditional mainstream wrestling product to television, national television or international television. It's not complicated. In terms of vibe, I like that old shooter vibe. I want you to watch people that can believe can beat your ass. That's it. I want the toughest to win. I want the toughest to feel like they're the stars of our company. It's interesting because I pivoted that over the last 18 months and really built the company around the toughest people, not the biggest, but the toughest. I really see how that's really, and I really see how that's starting to really click. In essence, I finally connected that passion I have for Bruce Brody when I was a kid to the modern version of the NWA. A lot of people in the wrestling community, and I know this is a high big target. They like what they're going to call the 8-star Meltzer matches and all that stuff too. I like that stuff too, but we're talking about business, just straight business, not fan stuff. I believe the Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. And then this upcoming main event, McIntyre, who recast himself on the independent scene of the star he is, versus Tyrus, who is 6'8", 370 pounds, versus Tyron Mark, who's 6'3" and 350 pounds. I want to see that match. Well, you and 5 people. Look at this amazing. Look at this paragraph right here. And all the love and such for these wrestlers, but they're not Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley. They're not even close to that stuff. Lesnar and Lashley are like different stratospheres of talent, endurance, and build to Tyrus, Trevor Murdoch, and Matt Cardona. And I'm sorry. Just that statement. What? This statement, ladies and gentlemen, is so yeah. Oh gosh, this statement. Oh, let me just get rid of this thing. Just turn off. There you go. But yeah. And I'd like to say, if you don't want to see that stuff, then don't watch the NWA. Yes, that's when people are not barely watching it now, just push the rest of the fan base off. That's gonna be great because that's what I'm gonna be more and more of it. More Tyrus and Trevor Murdoch. Gay. Everyone wants more SmackDown versus Raw 08 roster. Get in. This is your stuff. This is your shit right here. Get in. Get in there, baby. Woo. That SmackDown 08, 07 roster from that's fill this in, baby. Oh yeah, you feel good about it. Oh yes. Yeah. And as we climb, and I'm able to take kind of develop young talent in the world, mold the NWA, it will be the toughest, hard-hitting wrestling in the world. I know that there's the strong style in Japan, but to me, that's a different psychological. It's hard to explain. I don't mean disrespect. It's just different psychology. Oh wow, okay. They don't cover what's in the women. It's like saying he believes he's trying to come that way. Professional wrestling should be and presented in 2022, 2022. This is his quotes, by the way. Put this right up here. Y'all can see these quotes. All right. There it is. Let me just put this here. I will make the argument that we probably have the toughest women in business right now, and I love it. I love women who are strong, beautiful, and vicious. That's a beautiful combination. And with the men, I want them to be the meanest, toughest elephants in the middle of the ring. If you can't hang, go impress somebody somewhere else. My NWA will be, if you want to call it, old school. You want to call it AWA? You want to call Florida with Eddie Graham, or you want to call it what do you have? I put it this way. I said this because respect to Mr. Briscoe. I want you, bros, usually having, and I want you, and you guys look at what we're doing to be proud because I believe that this is the business. And I'm not saying there's other variations of the business. If you ask me, rock and roll, who are the greatest bands of all time, I tell you Led Zeppelin and the Beatles because they were great at every level and every facet of the game. And when I look at the old school, why is it that way? Because it was going to draw the most money and bring the most people, and it did repeatedly. And now we've broken all these micro genres and subculture like that. I still believe the business and capital letters and what I'm striving. So again, it's not sentimental, but I would hope that what you see with what we're doing as progress, you keep say that in business. That's the way to draw, and that's the way to keep people coming back. Just oh, oh, Lord, this. This man truly believes this. And I gotta go look at this once again. Look at this. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, like this. They comparing them to Tyrus and this is the future? Meanwhile, they barely even existing. The NWA is barely existing. Um, I'm just, you know, I just, I'm sorry. It's just, I'm like, no, this is terrible. By the way, this man is like 50. Hold on. Let me just look at this. I know this is Wikipedia or whatever, but good Lord. He's 50 years old. 50 years old. 50. Look at it. He's 50 years old. Tyrus is like 50 years old, ladies and gentlemen. He's 50. 50. Like, and this is the future of the NWA. This is and by the way, shocker, he goes on the Fox News and such, and all these other things, and sexual harassment too. You put a guy who just he's just beyond old or whatever. He's done. Tyrus just Tyrus, man, 50 years old, going on the Fox News like late go show Gutfeld, and it has sexual harassments and such. Jeez, the state of your company, the state of your goddamn company, and you know what? Nick Aldis was right. Just the state of your company, man. The state of your company. 50-plus-year-old sex allegedly sex pest, tyrist, going around here allegedly, 50 years old, 50 years old, NWA World Champion, with all the bad knees and everything else. Had an undefeated streak in the NWA, and just have him win. I mean, What else there is to say, ladies and gentlemen? What do you want me to say? There is nothing for me to say here other than this company. The NWA is not just in the mud, they're beneath the mud. They are in the Earth's crust of it. GCW, for all its faults, is more aware than you. I would say not just that, but Impact laps you, GCW laps you. I mean, there's other things that have lapped you, by the way. Of let's see, I know let's see, one of my favorite DC fight uh you know, one pro is much more gosh, I mean, they have more of a clout than you. And that's just amazing to me. Amazing to me. Um just yeah, I don't care. I really don't seriously. I'm like, yeah. Fight Club Pro Wrestling is more interesting and more over than anything the NWA has done in the past year. By the way, Trish Adora is she's a better champion than Tyrus. But I have a better match than anything else. By the way, AEW, sign her, please. Sign her, please. So you can have actual people who actual good women's wrestlers and such. She's great. So yeah, Trish Adora, baby. Trish Adora. Yeah. That's just me, man. That is just my personal opinion. I don't know. All right. That's just my personal thing. I could be wrong. Anyway, we're gonna take a little bit of a break here. Music break. We're gonna come back and talk about WWE offering Stone Cold another WrestleMania match. Think about people being in the past. We'll be right back right after this here live on Dukect Lounge on not just our talk show but also our YouTube. Thanks for joining me, Dukect. We'll be right back right after this. Mm-hmm. No. Okay. Settings. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening here live on the Dukect Lounge. Anyway, let's get into this story. And another thing, I'm going to get a little bit angry here. Stone Cold, Steve Austin, another match, which this is just great. Point of Fightful Select. WWE has contacted the legendary performer about stepping into the ring once again after Triple H replaced Vince McMahon as head of WWE Creative. Oh joy! So Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be wrestling his another last match. Reporting wrestling at one point, Austin and WWE were far apart in terms of deal, but WWE is hoping that at the very least, Austin will be able to work with the company more. Before McMahon was out of the picture, he also wanted Stone Cold back in the ring for another match at one point. News comes on the heels of making a big splash across social media with a video of the Texas Rattlesnake training in the gym demonstrated that he's in phenomenal shape. Earlier this year, WrestleMania 38, Austin wrestled his first match in 2 decades, taking on Kevin Owens, which was a fun match and a fun way to pretty much end his career. Wouldn't it have been nice? But no, we have to keep bringing people back over and over again because no one ever leaves. Nothing ever ends. You know? It just keeps happening over and over and over and over and over until the end of time. In fact, when Stone Cold, and after it's like after 20 or 30 years, they can bring back a hologram by AI that looks just like Stone Cold to keep the things going over and over again. Nothing ends, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing ends. Yeah. But here we are, one more time. It was a 14-minute, no holds barred match, which was really fun. It was a fun match. I was there. It was fun. This month, I mean, he says right here, yada, yada, yada. Wrestling grows in W history about Austin wrestling, yada, yada. Had Austin done against Owens, that may have ended any speculation around the legendary performer lacing his boots again. But Austin has indicated you know what the problem is, ladies and gentlemen? It's the old talent. They have no new talent. No new talents. WE is like they're so they have so many old guys on their roster, but yet there's no new stars up there. Who are their new stars they're building up right now? Name them. Carmelo Hayes. Okay. You have Braun Breaker, Von Wagner. Okay. Who else? Let's see. Most of them on NXT. What about the people on the main roster? Dominic Mysterio. Okay. Um, You know, Gunther. All right, that's nice. Gunther. That's good. Imperium, that's nice. Um, anybody else? Anyone? All of them old. Only well, what about Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins, man, he's in the you know, how old is Seth Rollins? Hold on. Look how old he is. 36. Okay, he's 36 years old. All right. Seth Rollins, 36. Cody Rhodes, I think he's what, 35 or 36 or something. Let's see, how old is he? 37. 37 years old. These are your new stars, man. 35, 36, 37, nothing under. Only one probably is Dominic Mysterio. And oh, Lord, Dominic Mysterio, a guy Logan Paul overly cooked in his first match in WWE. How the hell you get Logan Paul outshine you in his first match in WrestleMania? Outworked. I mean, he wrestled him. How the hell you been on the main roster? You're the son of one of the best luchadors slash wrestlers, luchadors in all time in Rey Mysterio, and he is just so bland. And that's the best star you got at the main roster, Dominic Mysterio. Holy, oh Lord, oh Lord, bless this company because they don't know what to do. They don't know. They have nothing. They have nothing. They literally have no stars. Where is the youth? I feel like Taz doing that. The one the W draft. He was like with ECW. Like we need some kids. We need some kids. Like it's like we need kids, man. Like he was talking about how he was like trying to get in a baseball team or whatever. Like like so we got getting screwed over these I think that was his reference that they don't have any, no one's coming to their team. Like we need kids and such. They need that, and that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. They need kids, and they need them now. And that's why I look at AEW, the free agency. It's like they need to get them. There's a lot of old guys in WWE. They need some new talent, and they need them fast. And that's the real issue. WWE has no new talent. And what if Nick Aldis is coming in? It's another 30-year-old guy. If maybe the only one, maybe it's MJF, he'd be like, what, 27, 28? That's it. That's the old. They have no young talent. What happened to the young talent? Where is the WWE's next future stuff? I mean, at this point, they might have to. They need to have, Carmelo Hayes needs to be on the main roster yesterday. Carmelo Hayes needs to be on the main roster now. Braun Breaker needs to be in the main roster now. Hell, Braun Breaker needs to be on that now. NXT, they need to have a nice. The new young talents need to be there now. He needs to be there now. They need to have them right now. He's 28 years old. He doesn't need to be in NXT. He needs to be on the main roster. He needs to be on the main roster now. Put Carmelo Hayes on the main roster. Hell, I'll give you an idea for free, WWE. How about you put him in the Royal Rumble and have him win the Royal Rumble? There you go. Stuff like that. I don't know. He just give him just actually do something. Do something with your younger talent. This is getting really bad at this point. Yeah, that's to me, um, the worst things about WE right now is that the lack of young talent And hell, with Austin Theory and how they really handled that Money in the Bank thing, it just looks like they don't know how to build. They don't know how to manage and build young talent. Thing, ladies and gentlemen, WWE, for the most part, in this entire run, the WWE was always about, when it was the highest, the most important, the most lucrative, the most interesting was its young stars, was its most over stars. That is what was most interesting. Be it from the 80s, the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, and heck, even the PG era. There was some good young talent. And WE at least built up some of that young talent. Here, well, they have all the old stars. They don't really have any main stars anyway. And look at that main roster. I mean, Roman pretty much going away probably in a year or two. That's gonna be a big hole that no one seems to really fill. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Leave some in the comments section below. Anyway, um, oh yeah, if it's another legend, Austin and Cena, fine, whatever. Who cares? I don't mind. Anyway, we're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna next up is gonna talk about John Wick having a AAA game might be coming soon. We're gonna talk a little about that, and we'll be right back right after this here live on the TalkShoe.com and YouTube. Thanks so much for listening to the Dukect Lounge. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to me, Dukect T, here on the Dukect Lounge. And thank you once again for listening, staying with me, and keeping up with me here on this lovely Tuesday evening. Well, let's talk a little about John Wick. Yep, John Wick is this came out last week. I was going to talk about this last week, but things got a little hectic. But here we are. The reason earned card CEO Lionsgate expects interest to create a new AAA title based on the John Wick. I'm surprised there hasn't been one already. There's been a couple indie games and stuff like that. But yeah, here it is. In a recent interview with the CEO of Lionsgate, has brought to light the possibility of a new AAA John Wick title being put into development. The popular Keanu Reeves-led film series about an ex-Wickman coming out of retirement has sparked many sequels and even has a prequel series currently in development. Despite its widespread popularity, the franchise has rarely been given the chance to shine as a video game. A new earnings call, Lionsgate CEO John Feltheimer has revealed the company's interest in a John Wick AAA title, the Gamer reports. The article points out that the game will likely be a much larger scale project than John Wick Hex, which we see lukewarm reviews when it released in 2019. However, Feltheimer hesitated to speak too much on the topic, saying, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but we believe there's a big AAA game to be made out of John Wick. Bears that so far Lionsgate is only fielding pitches for a new John Wick game, which no such title firmly set in development just yet. Oh yes, could be a big hit. Yeah, a major John Wick title has the potential to be an incredible successful release. Although John Wick series as a concept is strong enough to sell a game on its own right, having Keanu Reeves as a protagonist would push a AAA title to guaranteed hit territory. Not only is Keanu Reeves arguably one of the most universally beloved celebrities in the current cultural landscape, Reeves playing a character in Cyberpunk 2077 undoubtedly contributed a large boost of that game's sales. His presence in John Wick's title would have a strong potential to do something similar for the new game. Many players would buy it out for the love of Keanu Reeves. That's not to say that a John Wick video game from Lionsgate wouldn't need to be high quality if Reeves were at its helm. It would still need to improve on the areas which John Wick Hex fell short. To achieve maximum success, the new game would likely need to take a fast-paced approach to gameplay, as one of the complaints of John Wick Hex was how it failed to capture the energy of the John Wick franchise. Just look, John Wick Hex. What type of? I think it was a indie game or something. Let me take a look at what it was. Yeah, it was a Neil as an action. It's an action strategy game. That's the problem. Oh dear. Hex. Oh no. They actually love to see it, but I want to see it probably. Ah, gosh. It has to be in the style. I truly think the best way to do it is look at what the Max Payne series is. Max Payne, but a little more style, a little more grace, a little more of a, you know, the protagonist actually looks a little more, it's clean cut. You know what I'm saying? The protagonist is a clean cut man. That sort of thing. He's clean cut. Also, you have different variants of weapons and do have like these combat and such. That sort of thing. I think a little bit like a Path of Neo type of way. Not with all the flying and all the type of stuff, but Path of Neo type of not just that, but maybe a little bit of Arkham Knight ish type of combat, but yet with gunplay, like that sort of thing. You could just do like weird like moves and just like bam, like over the shotgun. You can hit somebody with it, knock them out, and just like just hit them. Do multiple things like for a shotgun alone. You see in the movies, they just do these weird, crazy things with guns, but also with like every other weapon you have. They just use everything around. Everything's a weapon to John Wick, and he's very dangerous with these weapons. He's that dangerous. That's why I think the game, I don't know if they can do that. That's going to take a lot of work to do so. I mean, it's going to be very, it has to be a little bit, limiting and such for John Wick to really be good. But I do have faith they can do it, but it needs to have like, I think the only company could do it is probably Platinum Games. Platinum Games could do it because look at what Bayonetta is, but scale it down a bit and do some weird, crazy combos and such. I think Platinum Games can pull off a John Wick game and make it like really good. They could just and don't worry about anything else. They'll say hire some people from like look, we will give you the story. You don't need to worry about the story at all. We got this. Because Platinum Games and their stories are just, the games are not meant for story. Even the best ones. And even then, they have to, outsource their, for storage departments. But that's just me. But that's just my opinion and everything else. Anyway, I think we'll end the show. By the way, like I said, Platinum Games should do a John Wick game. There it is. But anyway, I think that is it for the show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here with me, Duke CT. Peace and love. I will see you next Tuesday night here live on the Duke CT Lounge. Thank you once again for being here with me, Duke CT. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.